Hello, elect ones. I'm Andrew Summerham, and this is the Elected Zero channel. Today, I'm going to address a topic that many find controversial, but is incredibly important and transformative. Have you ever wondered why some of history's most influential figures shared a common secret? Tesla, Newton, Da Vinci, they all practiced something that modern society considers almost impossible. But here's the shocking truth. They weren't just depriving themselves. They were accessing a power that few know about. While most people waste their vital energy pursuing momentary pleasures, there exists a select group that has discovered how to transform this same force into creative power, mental clarity, and extraordinary spiritual connection. What do they know that no one has told you? Why does this information seem to have been hidden from modern society? Get ready to discover a truth that can completely change your perspective on personal power and spiritual evolution. Let's be honest, we live in a world that seems to conspire against any form of self-control. With every click, story, or social media post, we're bombarded with stimuli that trigger our most basic instincts. Advertisements, movies, music, everything seems to scream that immediate gratification is the path to happiness. And when someone mentions the practice of celibacy, reactions range from disbelief to mockery. That's impossible, some say. It must be unhealthy, others speculate. But here's what they don't know. That constant restlessness, that energy you feel coursing through your body, it's merely the surface of something much deeper. Imagine being able to channel all that vital force toward your goals, your dreams, your spiritual evolution. Practitioners report an explosion of creativity, unprecedented mental clarity, and energy so powerful it's difficult to describe. It's as if an internal switch is flipped, revealing capabilities you never knew you possessed. It's no coincidence that so many geniuses and spiritual masters throughout history chose this path. They discovered that what the world sees as deprivation is actually the key to a kind of power and fulfillment that very few people ever experience in their lifetime. Imagine that pulsating energy sensation that sometimes takes over your body. That's exactly what we're talking about when we mention the primordial life force. Like a mighty river that can both generate power and cause destruction, our sexual energy holds this same transformative potential. Many seek only momentary satisfaction, but few know the true treasure hidden within this natural force that dwells in each of us. In practice, this transformation manifests in surprising ways in our lives. The energy that once dispersed in fleeting pursuits begins to accumulate internally, creating such an intense field of vital force that it completely transforms our day-to-day experience. The mind becomes clearer, intuition's sharper, creativity flows effortlessly. It's as if an inner power source, which had always been dormant, finally begins to awaken. And most fascinating is that this process follows a universal pattern. The more we refine our basic energy, the more we access extraordinary states of achievement and clarity. When we begin to observe more attentively the energy pulsing within us, we discover something extraordinary. That same force that drives us toward basic desires holds within itself an immense transformative potential. It's like an underground river of creative power that, when consciously directed, can emerge in higher forms of expression. The ancient spiritual masters weren't just avoiding pleasures. They had discovered a profound science of energetic transmutation, where each challenge of self-control was actually a step toward elevated states of consciousness. Have you noticed how you feel more creative and productive when you learn to direct your impulses? It's like transforming water into steam. Same essence, higher state. This energy can be directed through simple practices like conscious breathing, meditation, or intense physical activity. The secret lies in understanding that we don't need to suppress this force, but rather learn to channel it toward higher objectives. How many times have we caught ourselves searching outside for what truly lies within? It's fascinating how the pursuit of momentary pleasure often masks a deeper need for connection with God. Like a child who has strayed from their father and feels that inexplicable emptiness, each person who decides to redirect their vital energy begins an extraordinary journey of return to the sacred. It's like those moments when you find yourself alone in your room, feeling a void that no entertainment can fill. Not social media, not games, not passing relationships. This is the moment when your soul is crying out for something greater. It's when you realize that constant restlessness, that endless pursuit of satisfaction, is actually a divine call to reconnect with your true essence. Most incredibly, as you begin to direct this energy toward connection with the sacred, you start to notice profound changes in your life. Synchronicities increase, answers come in mysterious ways, and that sense of divine protection becomes more tangible. It's as if God were saying, "Now that you've chosen to draw near, I can show you the true purpose of this vital force I placed within you." Prayer becomes deeper, gratitude more genuine, and gradually that old agitation gives way to a peace that transcends all understanding. Science is becoming increasingly fascinated with something the ancients already knew. Our vital energy is like a universal battery that can power different aspects of our life. Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, called this sublimation, the process of transforming our basic impulses into elevated cultural and intellectual achievements. When someone begins practicing the sublimation of this energy, remarkable changes commonly occur. Memory becomes sharper, creativity soars, and a vitality emerges that many compare to having superpowers. And it's not just in the mental realm that transformations occur. The physical body also undergoes notable changes. Athletes who practice energy retention report better muscle recovery, increased endurance, and even a more magnetic presence. Great names like Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson spoke about this during their training periods. It's interesting to note how this ancient practice is being rediscovered by modern high-performance athletes. Most fascinating is observing how this sublimated energy affects our practical achievements. Entrepreneurs begin to have clearer insights for their businesses, artists discover new dimensions of creativity, and even students notice an expanded capacity to absorb knowledge. For example, many report being able to study for hours on end without typical mental fatigue, as if they've discovered an inexhaustible source of creative energy. The transformation of this vital energy into spiritual force isn't just theory. There are powerful practices that can help you on this journey. One of the most effective is silent meditation, preferably practiced in the early morning hours. Start with just 5 minutes and you'll already notice the difference. It's as if an internal switch is activated, bringing mental clarity and mastery over impulses. With time, you can increase to 15, 30 minutes, discovering increasingly deeper levels of inner peace. Stimulus fasting has proven to be a transformative practice in this process. Think about how many times you open Instagram and encounter provocative images, or how much time you spend on social media consuming content that stimulates superficial desires. It's impressive how the simple act of turning off notifications or establishing specific times for using social media can strengthen your self-control. Some people also report extraordinary benefits from food fasting, an ancient practice worth researching more deeply, always with proper guidance. The practice of intense physical exercise also deserves special attention. But we're not talking about just any exercise. Activities like weightlifting, running, or martial arts are particularly effective. They don't just strengthen the body, but create an unparalleled mental discipline. For example, when you complete a challenging series of exercises, even when your body begs to quit, you develop that willpower that will be crucial in moments of temptation. When we talk about spiritual transformation, few understood this process as deeply as Carl Jung. He saw our vital energy as something far beyond the physical aspect. It was a force capable of connecting us with deeper dimensions of the psyche. For Jung, each challenge in controlling this energy was in fact an invitation from the unconscious for evolution. It's as if each temptation were a disguised opportunity for transcendence, a call to integrate higher aspects of ourselves. History is full of inspiring examples of people who understood this transformative power. Saints and mystics from different traditions demonstrated how this energy, when channeled to the divine, can produce extraordinary experiences of ecstasy and enlightenment. It's fascinating to observe how they describe similar sensations of inner light, deep peace, and connection with the whole, regardless of their religious tradition. This shows us that there's a universal truth behind these practices. What's most interesting is noticing how this path of transformation follows a universal pattern. First comes the awakening, that eureka moment when we understand there's something greater. Then, we face the challenges and temptations that Jung called the encounter with the shadow. And finally, inner alchemy happens. That's when the energy that once caused restlessness transforms into creative force, mental clarity, and spiritual connection. It's a process that requires courage, but invariably leads to higher levels of consciousness. So what did you think of these revelations? I imagine your mind must be buzzing with all these possibilities. After all, it's not every day we discover we have access to such transformative power within ourselves. The question now is, are you ready to take the next step? Think for a moment. What if you started today? What if from now on, you began to see your vital energy not as something to be wasted, but as a sacred force capable of completely transforming your life? Imagine having access to extraordinary levels of creativity, mental clarity, and spiritual connection. You don't need to make this journey alone. Our community is growing every day, bringing together people committed to their spiritual evolution and personal development. If you want to deepen this knowledge further and receive practical guidance for your journey, be sure to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Every week, we bring exclusive content about spiritual practices, personal development, and inner transformation. I'll be direct with you. This is not a path for the weak. In a world where everything conspires to keep us in the endless cycle of desire and temporary satisfaction, choosing the path of energetic transmutation is an act of true spiritual rebellion. You will encounter resistance from society, from your social circle, and even from your own conditioned mind. But that's exactly why true elect ones are rare, because few have the courage to swim against the current in pursuit of something greater. But know this. Every time you consciously choose to preserve your energy, every time you resist an impulse in the name of a higher purpose, you are not alone. There is a silent brotherhood of seekers spread throughout the world who are fighting the same inner battle. Some you'll meet right here in our community. Others you'll never meet personally, but they're connected to you through this sacred commitment to conscious evolution. As elect ones, we carry a sacred responsibility, not just for our own evolution, but for all those who will yet awaken to this path. Each of us is like a light in the darkness, showing that it's possible to live at a higher level of consciousness. So share with us in the comments, where are you on this journey? What are your biggest challenges? What transformations have you already begun to notice? Your experiences are valuable and can inspire other spiritual warriors walking the same path. Let's strengthen our community, supporting each other as we advance together toward higher states of consciousness and realization. After all, that's what it means to be one of the elect ones, being committed not just to your own ascension, but to the elevation of all human consciousness. I'll see you in the next video. This is just the beginning.